She always thought she could walk all over me. My wife, Clara, had this habit of bragging to her friends that she held all the power in our marriage. I never confronted her about it at first, thinking it was just harmless talk. But over time, her words started cutting deeper. She'd smirk and tell me that if she ever wanted to leave, she could dump me any time and find someone better. I brushed it off, but deep down it hurt. I loved her, but something in my gut told me she didn't feel the same way anymore. The truth came crashing down one evening when she left her phone unattended. I wasn't the type to snoop, but the screen lit up with messages that were impossible to ignore. A man's name popped up, followed by a heart emoji. My hands trembled as I opened the thread and found countless texts between her and another man, filled with affection, promises, and even plans to meet while she was out with the girls. My heart sank, but at that moment, something inside me snapped. When she came home later that night, I didn't confront her. Instead, I watched how easily she lied about being with her friends. She even kissed me on the cheek, not knowing I knew everything. That's when I decided I wouldn't cry, I wouldn't beg, and I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of watching me fall apart. If she thought she held the power, I was about to show her just how wrong she was. The next day, I quietly went to the hardware store and changed the locks on our house. It felt symbolic, like I was finally shutting her out of my heart as well. I packed her things neatly into boxes and left them in the garage. When she came back from work and found herself locked out, she called me furiously, demanding I let her in. All I told her was, "You wanted power? Here it is. You don't live here anymore." The silence on the other end was priceless. Of course, she thought it was just an empty move, that I'd cave in within a few days. But instead of sulking, I focused on moving forward. That's when fate stepped in. Her younger sister, Emily, reached out to me. She said she had always suspected Clara of being unfaithful and wanted to check if I was okay. What started as a simple conversation turned into long talks, dinners, and eventually something neither of us expected. Emily was everything Clara wasn't. She was kind, genuine, and actually listened when I spoke. Unlike Clara, she didn't see relationships as power games but as partnerships. The more time I spent with her, the more I realized how starved I had been for real affection. And the best part? She didn't hide anything. No secret messages, no games, no pretending. Just honesty. When Clara found out, her reaction was explosive. She screamed, cursed, and called me every name in the book. "How could you betray me with my own sister?" she yelled. The irony was almost laughable. Betray her? She had been betraying me for months, maybe longer. I calmly told her, "You said you could dump me any time." "Well, I dumped you first, and upgraded." Her rage was unmatched, but there was nothing she could do. Her parents, surprisingly, didn't take her side. They had always seen how selfish Clara could be but stayed silent for the sake of family peace. Now that everything was in the open, they actually supported me and Emily. Clara became the black sheep of her own family, something she had never expected. The woman who once bragged about having all the control now had none at all. It didn't take long for Clara's relationship with her lover to fizzle out. He wasn't interested in a long-term commitment. He just wanted the thrill of sneaking around. Once the excitement was gone, so was he. Clara was left alone, without a home, without her family's support, and without the husband she thought would always be waiting in the shadows. Meanwhile, my bond with Emily only grew stronger. At first, it felt strange, almost like forbidden territory, but the more we opened up to each other, the more natural it felt. She admitted she had always thought I deserved better, and I finally believed it. Being with her didn't feel like revenge anymore. It felt like healing. Clara tried to win me back a few times, showing up at my workplace or leaving long emotional messages, but I never responded. The old me would have fallen for it, but I had learned my worth. I didn't need a woman who saw love as leverage. I needed someone who treated me with respect, and I had found that in Emily. Months passed, and soon people stopped talking about the drama. Clara faded into the background, while Emily and I moved forward together. Friends who once pitied me now congratulated me for how I handled everything. They called it the sweetest revenge, but for me, it was simply a fresh start. In the end, Clara was right about one thing. She could leave me any time. But she was dead wrong about holding the power. Because when the dust settled, it wasn't her who came out on top, it was me. And as I held Emily's hand, I realized that sometimes life has a funny way of balancing itself.